Scouring through history books. Can you find another emperor who compares to the Yongle Emperor? The answer is no. He is the only person in history who seized his nephew's throne through rebellion. Yet he created the glorious Yongle era, led military campaigns against the Mongols, and expanded the empire. He sent Zheng He on 6 voyages to the western seas. He spread Chinese civilization abroad, and moved the capital to Beijing. He compiled the Yongle Encyclopedia. China during the Yongle period was undoubtedly the world's greatest power. His brilliance and strategies made him one of the greatest emperors in history. He was Emperor Yongle Zhu Di. Zhu Di was the 4th son of Zhu Yuanzhang, the 3rd emperor of the Ming dynasty, born in 1360. When Zhu Di was born, Zhu Yuanzhang was engaged in a life-and-death struggle with his strongest rival, Chun Yuliang. Zhu Yuanzhang didn't even have time to take a proper look at his newborn son before rushing back to the battlefield to command his troops. After Zhu Di was born, he, like his 6 brothers, had no name. It wasn't until the year before Zhu Yuanzhang became emperor that he finally thought of naming his 7 sons. By then, Zhu Di was already 7 years old. In 1368, Zhu Yuanzhang proclaimed himself emperor in Nanjing. His reign title was Hongwu. Zhu Yuanzhang placed great emphasis on education. From a young age, Zhu Di and his brothers received a traditional Confucian education, along with strict military training. Zhu often sent his 7 sons on long journeys outside the city, just like soldiers. They rode horses for 70% of the journey. For the remaining 30%, they had to walk. This rigorous training greatly toughened the princes, who had lived sheltered lives in the palace. It strengthened their resolve. In the 3rd year of the Hongwu reign, Zhu Yuanzhang infeft his 7 sons as kings. Zhu Di was made the prince of Yan. Zhu Yuanzhang believed that one of the reasons the Yuan dynasty fell was because the vassals were strong and the emperor was weak. In times of crisis, the emperor did not receive support from the princes. Therefore, Zhu Yuanzhang infeft his sons as kings, so that they could jointly defend the Zhu family's imperial rule for the long term. In the 9th year of the Hongwu reign, Zhu Di married Su, the eldest daughter of General Su Da, Duke of Wei. As Zhu Di was about to take up his post in his fief, Zhu Yuanzhang sent him along with his 2nd brother, Prince Qin, Zhu Shuang, and his 3rd brother, Prince Jin, Zhu Gang, to Jiangdu, Fenyang. Fenyang was Zhu Yuanzhang's hometown. The purpose was to ensure they always remembered the place where their ancestors rose to prominence. Later, Zhu Di was sent to Fenyang 3 more times. While there, he not only trained his soldiers, but also often went among the common people to observe their lives and hardships. This experience had a profound impact on his thinking, and might have planted the seeds for the prosperous Yongle reign. This might have laid the foundation for the glorious Yongle era he would later create. In the 13th year of the Hongwu reign, Zhu Di went to Beiping to assume his position as the Prince of Yan. Zhu Yuanzhang decreed that each prince could have a small army as his personal guard when taking up his post. In theory, princes were not allowed to intervene in local affairs, but in emergencies, they could mobilize local troops. Moreover, during military campaigns, princes had to lead their personal guards into battle. This meant that even the top generals in battle had to defer to the princes. In addition, Zhu Yuanzhang appointed a monk to assist each prince. The monk assigned to assist Zhu Di was named Dao Yan. Later, Zhu Di gave him the name Yao Guangshao. Yao Guangshao was highly strategic and knowledgeable. He was the main strategist behind the Jingnan campaign. He helped Zhu Di successfully seize the throne. Yao Guangshao and Zhu Di got along very well. He recommended dozens of capable staff to Zhu Di. Yao Guangshao told Zhu Di that Yuan Gong was the best at reading the empire's fate. He asked for permission to summon him in the name of the Prince of Yan. When Yuan Gong met Zhu Di, he lavished praise upon him. He said, "Your Highness, you are destined to ascend to the great throne. For 20 years, you will be a peaceful son of heaven." From then on, both Yao Guangshao and Yuan Gong became Zhu Di's advisors. In the 23rd year of the Hongwu reign, Zhu Yuanzhang appointed Fu Yud as general to train troops in Beiping and support the Prince of Yan in his expedition to the north to eradicate the northern Yuan's Grand Marshal Naha. The army encountered heavy snow as it reached the Gubaku Great Wall. The generals proposed halting the march until the snow stopped, but Zhu Di argued that the snow would catch the enemy off guard, making it a heaven-sent opportunity. Not only should they not stop the march, they should speed it up. When the Ming army reached Yidu, just as Zhu Di predicted, Naha was completely unaware. Though victory seemed assured, Zhu Di believed it was better to persuade the enemy first. He sent his subordinate Guantong to negotiate Naha's surrender. Meanwhile, the Ming forces had already decimated the reinforcements. Seeing his forces collapse, Naha tried to flee on horseback, but Guantong told him it was too late to escape. Naha had no choice but to go to Zhu Di's camp and surrender. The Prince of Yan graciously hosted him with wine. Deeply moved, Naha led his tribe to surrender to the Ming forces. When the victory report reached the capital, Zhu Yuanzhang joyfully declared, "He who cleanses the desert." From this point on, Zhu Di's fame spread far and wide. After Zhu Yuanzhang ascended the throne, he named his eldest son, Zhu Bao, as crown prince. However, over time, this decision began to cause discontent among the other princes. Open conflict and covert scheming began. Zhu Di, after capturing Naha, was slandered by his brother Prince Jin, Zhu Gand, who was jealous of his achievements. He complained to Crown Prince Zhu Bao, saying Zhu Di disregarded orders and took unnecessary risks. He also urged Zhu Bao to report the matter to Zhu Yuanzhang. Whenever Zhu Di entered the court, Prince Jin and the Crown Prince would verbally attack him. Prince Jin even placed spies within the Prince of Yan's residence to gather evidence against Zhu Di. In the 24th year of the Hongwu reign, Zhu Yuanzhang ordered Zhu Di to once again lead a campaign against the northern Yuan. He was to capture Fanjiang, Ashili, and others. In the 25th year of the Hongwu reign, Crown Prince Zhu Bao passed away. Zhu Yuanzhang convened the court officials. While discussing the matter of appointing a new crown prince at the East Pavilion Gate, Zhu Yuanzhang said, "The Prince of Yan has proven himself in 4 campaigns. What do you think of appointing him?" At that time, the imperial princes all commanded large military forces, especially the Prince of Yan Zhu Di, who controlled the most troops and had long coveted the throne. Therefore, none of the civil and military officials dared to speak about the important matter of establishing a crown prince. However, the Hanlin scholar Liu Sanwu stepped forward and advised against it. Liu Sanwu mentioned Prince Li of Yan and the 2 kings of Qin and Jin, which made Zhu Yuanzhang burst into tears. Later, Zhu Yuanzhang, in order to prevent his sons from killing each other for the throne, accepted Liu Sanwu's advice. He appointed his eldest grandson, Zhu Yunwen, as the crown prince. For this, Liu Sanwu was demoted from Hanlin scholar to a professor at the Imperial Academy, equivalent to today's university professor. Later, when his son-in-law Zhao Man was executed for corruption, Liu resigned to avoid suspicion. In the 26th year of Hongwu, Zhu Yuanzhang ordered the troops of Prince Yan to gather in Beiping, laying the groundwork for Zhu Di's future rebellion. In the 28th year of Hongwu, Zhu Yuanzhang's second son, Prince Qin Zhu Shuang, passed away. In the 29th year of Hongwu, Zhu Di once again led his army on a northern expedition. He captured General Balingtemer and others, and chased the enemy to Yulingit city. After defeating Harao, he returned victorious. In March of the 31st year of Hongwu, Zhu Yuanzhang's third son, Prince Jin Zhu Gand, died of illness. In June of the same year, Zhu Yuanzhang passed away in the imperial palace in Nanjing. He was 71 years old. His temple name was Taizu. He left a will stating that his grandson Zhu Yunwen would succeed him, becoming Emperor Jianwen. Zhu Di became the eldest of all the princes. By this time, Zhu Di had amassed considerable power, with experienced guards under his command, and his authority had already surpassed the usual limits, allowing him to oversee local administration. After the death of Prince Jin, Zhu Yuanzhang had once issued a decree to Zhu Di, stating that the princes of Qin and Jin should rule with Confucian principles. They should both defend the borders and stabilize the internal affairs. Who else but Confucians could accomplish this? Thus, Zhu Di was to lead the princes. He was to select capable men and defend the border by relocating settlers, to fulfill the will of heaven. In this way, it was clear that Zhu Yuanzhang viewed Zhu Di as the pillar of the Zhu family's imperial stability and had high hopes for him. At the same time, however, he was concerned that Prince Yan and other princes might become too powerful. This could pose a threat to the new emperor. Thus, before his death, Zhu Yuanzhang left an edict forbidding the princes from entering the capital without a decree. His will stipulated that the princes should remain in their fiefs and be subject to the control of the court, forbidding them from attending his funeral in the capital. After Zhu Yuanzhang's death, Prince Yan Zhu planned to travel from Beiping to Nanjing to attend the funeral. However, Zhu Yunwen rejected him, citing the late emperor's will. After Zhu Yunwen ascended the throne, he adopted the advice of Qi Tai and Huang Ziking, beginning to weaken the power of the princes. And within less than a year, 5 surrounding princes were deposed. Zhu Di, however, hid his ambitions. On the surface, he pretended to submit, but secretly he intensified his military training. He recruited talented and capable individuals. He selected young and strong men to strengthen his guard. Soon after, Zhu Yunwen appointed Zhang Bing as commissioner of Beiping, and appointed Zi Gui to control the Beiping Military Command Office, placing Beiping under Zi's control. Additionally, Song Zhang, Su Kai, and Zhang Huan were stationed in Kaiping, Linqing, and Shanhaiguan respectively, in preparation to weaken Zhu Di. In June of the first year of Jianwen's reign, the court sent troops to arrest all officials of Prince Yan's palace. They secretly ordered Jiang Xin to arrest Zhu Di, but Jiang Xin, a former subordinate of Zhu Di, defected to him instead. In July, Zhu Di captured and killed Zhang Bing and Zi Gui, and ordered Zhang Yu and Zhu Neng to lead troops to take control of the 9 gates of Beiping overnight. Having taken control of the situation in Beiping, Zhu Di declared he was acting in accordance with respecting ancestral teachings. He proclaimed that he was punishing the treacherous officials, Qi Tai and Huang Ziking, and swore to march on the capital. Thus began a civil war that lasted 4 years, known in history as the Jingnan Campaign. At the beginning of the war, many of the northern generals were Zhu Di's old subordinates, and they quickly surrendered to him. Zhu Di swiftly captured Zhiyongguan, Huailai, and Zhenhua. Due to Zhu Yuanzhang's mass execution of founding ministers in his later years, when the Jingnan campaign broke out, the court had no generals to send. In August of the first year of Jianwen's reign, Zhu Yunwen had no choice but to appoint the 65-year-old veteran Zhang Bingwen as the general-in-chief. He led an army of 300,000 in a northern expedition. When Zhu Di's army reached Jiangding, they camped on both sides of the Hutuo River, and Zhu Di ordered Commander Su Kai to station at Hejian. Pan Zhang and Yang Song were stationed in Mozhou, while an additional 9,000 vanguard troops were stationed in Zhang County. It was Mid-Autumn Festival, and the vanguard in Zhang County was ambushed by Zhu Di's forces. All 9,000 soldiers were killed. Pan Zhang led his troops from Mozhou to reinforce them. However, as they crossed the Yuyang Bridge, they were ambushed. Both Pan Zhang and Yang Song were captured, but they refused to surrender. In the end, they were killed. Soon after, Mozhou fell, and at that moment, Zhang Bingwen's subordinate Zhang Bao surrendered to Zhu Di. Zhang Bao reported the true situation of the southern forces to Zhu Di, who then released Zhang Bao, allowing him to spread news of the southern army's disastrous defeat. He also claimed that the northern army was about to arrive. Upon hearing this, Zhang Bingwen quickly moved his troops, only to be suddenly attacked by the northern army. His forces scattered, and as they fled into the city, soldiers crowded at the gates, trampling each other. The death toll was countless. Of Zhang Bingwen's 300,000-strong army, only 100,000 remained. They retreated into the city to defend and dared not engage in battle. Upon hearing of Zhang Bingwen's defeat, Emperor Jianwen appointed Li Jingwen, the son of Li Wenzhong, as the new general to replace Zhang Bingwen. In the end, they were defeated. In April of the second year of Jianwen's reign, the two sides clashed again at the Baigu River. Li Jinglong was defeated once again and fled to Jinan. In September, the court appointed Sheng Yong to replace Li Jinglong. In December, Sheng Yong led his army to engage Zhu Di's forces at Liaocheng in Shandong. Zhu Di's forces suffered a major defeat. The main general, Zhang Yu, was killed in battle. In February of the third year of Jianwen's reign, Zhu Di's army marched south again. In March, they defeated Shenyang at the Hutuo River. Then they defeated Wu Ji at Gaosheng. Although Zhu Di's forces had more victories than defeats, they suffered heavy losses. Meanwhile, the court had a continuous supply of troops. Zhu Di controlled only the cities he had captured in Hebei and Shandong, and his troops were far fewer than those of the court. In the third year of Jianwen's reign, Zhu Di learned that Nanjing was defenseless, so he changed his strategy and prepared to march directly on Nanjing. In January of the fourth year of Jianwen's reign, Zhu Di led his army south. By May, his army had captured 4 prefectures, including Zuyi. He marched directly toward Yangzhou. This frightened Emperor Jianwen, who sent Princess Qingcheng as an envoy. She begged Zhu Di to cede land for peace, but Zhu Di refused. In June, Zhu Di's army crossed the Yangtze River, captured Zhenjiang, and advanced on Nanjing. Prince Wu Zhugui and Li Jinglong opened Jinchuan Gate and surrendered. Nanjing fell. Zhu Yunwen's whereabouts remain unknown. On June 17, Zhu Di first paid respects at the ancestral temple. Then he performed an imperial sacrifice at Fengtan Hall in Nanjing. On July 1, he offered sacrifices to the Heavenly Emperor, abolishing the Jianwen era name and changing the year to Hongwu 35. The following year became the first year of the Yongle era. Thus began his 22-year-long reign. Zhu Di's primary task after ascending the throne was to legitimize his reign, followed by eliminating opposition. He listed numerous officials and ruthlessly purged the ministers from the Jianwen era. Fang Xiaoru, along with 873 of his family members and disciples, were executed. Other royal princes and officials were also executed and their families exterminated. In the early years of his reign, to strengthen his imperial authority, he not only restored the titles of princes deposed during the Jianwen era, but also repressed them severely. While using them to consolidate power, Zhu Di also recognized the threat posed by the princes' faction. Thus, while suppressing the princes, he also closely monitored their movements, preparing to weaken their power. His methods were even more resolute than those of Emperor Jianwen. First, he relocated princes from frontier regions to the interior. Second, he reduced their personal guard forces. Any who showed disrespect were demoted to commoners. Qi King Zhu Fu and Jiyu King Zhu Hui were both demoted. After Emperor Yongle ascended the throne, he reinstated the Jinyue secret police and established the Eastern Depot, Dongchang. The establishment of these agencies intensified the court's surveillance efforts. From then on, all citizens lived under strict surveillance. The eunuch faction was brought into politics, even assuming important military positions. This set a harmful precedent for eunuch involvement in governance. Its impact was profound and long-lasting. During the reign of Zhu Yuanzhang, the position of chancellor was abolished, and the emperor directly managed the 6 ministries. Everything, big or small, had to be reported to the emperor. Zhu Di refined the civil service system, and a rudimentary cabinet system gradually took shape within the court. Although the cabinet held a low rank, only 5th grade, national policies and decisions required their consultation. Since Beiping, Beijing, was the place where Zhu Di first rose to power, it had been under his control for many years, with relatively stable rule. Additionally, Beiping, located in the north, was at the intersection of agricultural and nomadic civilizations, and a hub for Han-Mongol trade. It was also a key political and military stronghold in the north. Establishing the capital here would aid in resisting Mongol forces and controlling the northeastern region. To the south, it facilitated governance of the Central Plains. This would help maintain national unity. Thus, after his ascension, Zhu Di began preparing to move the capital to Beiping. In the first year of Yongle's reign, Zhu Di decreed the renaming of Beiping to Beijing. In the 4th year of Yongle, he began promoting Beijing. The project was divided into the Inner City, Imperial City, and the Forbidden City. In the 18th year of Yongle, the palace was completed. In January of the 19th year of Yongle, Zhu Di led the civil and military officials to perform sacrifices in the southern suburbs, formally moving the capital to Beijing. From then on, Beijing became the political, economic, military, and cultural center of the country. The scale of today's Forbidden City in Beijing was established at that time. The layout of the entire city was meticulously planned, from the Great Wall of the northern capital to the grandeur of the Forbidden City. And the north-south axis running symmetrically is awe-inspiring. It is a masterpiece in the architectural history of ancient China's feudal society. In the 4th year of Yongle, troops were dispatched to launch a southern expedition against Annam. Later, Annam was renamed Jiaozi. The Jiaozi Provincial Administration Commission was established. It governed 15 prefectures, 36 regions, and 181 counties. Annam is today's Vietnam. In the 7th year of Yongle, Emperor Yongle sent Shi Ji as an envoy to the Tatars. He sought to establish the Mulan Treaty of Friendship, ensuring mutual non-aggression. Unexpectedly, Shi Ji was killed, infuriating Zhu Di. In July of the same year, Zhu Di appointed Qiu Fu as general-in-chief to suppress the Tatars. He led 100,000 troops to campaign against the Tatars, but due to Qiu Fu's rash decisions and poor command during an initial engagement with 1,000 soldiers, he was ultimately killed in battle. The entire 100,000-strong army was annihilated at the Luke River. Zhu Di was furious. He decided to personally lead a campaign. In the 8th year of Yongle, Zhu Di led 500,000 troops deep into the northern desert. He personally led the campaign against the Tatars. In May, he decisively defeated the Benya forces at the banks of the Wunan River. Benya's forces retreated hastily, abandoning their banners. Later, he defeated Arutai's army at Xing'an Ridge. Arutai and his family fled far away. The Ming army won a great victory, and Arutai eventually surrendered to the Ming dynasty. Emperor Yongle granted him the title of Prince Hunning. Before this, Emperor Yongle had granted the title of Prince Shunning to the Walla leader, Mahamu, but as the Walla forces grew, they became a major threat to the Ming's northwestern borders. In the 12th year of Yongle, Emperor Yongle once again led a campaign beyond the Great Wall, personally attacking the Walla. The following year, Mahamu of the Walla sent envoys to apologize to the Ming. Diplomatic relations with the Ming court were restored. In the 19th year of Yongle, the 3rd Northern Expedition was launched. The Yuliger forces were defeated. In the 21st year of Yongle, the 4th Northern Expedition targeted Arutai. When Emperor Yongle learned that Arutai had been defeated by the Walla, he ordered his troops to halt. Tatar Prince Yexian Tugun surrendered with his tribe and was granted the title of Prince of Loyalty and Eternity. He was given the surname Jin Zhong. In the 22nd year of Yongle, the Tatars invaded the borderlands. Zhu Di began his 5th Northern Expedition, which would be his final campaign against the Tatars. He learned that Arutai had fled to the Dalanamua River. He ordered the Ming army to pursue swiftly, but due to a shortage of provisions, the campaign ended without success. In July of the 22nd year of Yongle, Zhu Di died during his return from the Northern Expedition at Muchen. Eunuch Ma Yun and Grand Scholar Yang Rong convened to discuss. Strictly block the news of the emperor's death. Then collect the western energy from the army, melt it, and close all the city gates. First, take care of Zhu Di's remains. Place the western gate on the millstone, maintain regular meals, and the army continues to march towards the capital. At the same time, secretly report to the Crown Prince. Soon, Crown Prince Zhu Gaoqi ascended the throne as Emperor Renzong of the Ming dynasty. Ming Chengzu was buried in the Changling Mausoleum at Tianshou Mountain, Beijing. He was honored as the Emperor Shaowan. His temple name was Taizong. During the Jiajing period of Emperor Shizong, the court believed his achievements were as significant as the founding of the dynasty. Thus, he was renamed Ming Chengzu. During Zhu Di's reign, he paid great attention to the recovery and development of the social economy, believing that family and the people were key. He believed that the well-being of the people was the foundation of peace in the empire. He vigorously promoted the military farm system to ensure the supply of grain to the army. He dispatched the Yuanji River water to dredge the rivers, encouraged land reclamation and farming in the Central Plains, reduced taxes, encouraged displaced people to return home and resume their work. For areas with mismatches between population and land, large-scale migration policies were implemented. In the 22nd year of Yongle, social production gradually recovered. Grain production increased year by year. The total income from grain taxes exceeded 6.9 million tons, with an average annual income of over 3.3 million tons, reaching the peak since the founding of the Ming dynasty. To highlight his achievements in culture, from the first year of Yongle, he spent 5 years compiling the Yongle Encyclopedia. The Yongle Encyclopedia was the largest encyclopedia in ancient China and the largest in the world at the time, predating the British and French encyclopedias by over 300 years. He also used the imperial examination system and book compilation to win over scholars. Promoted Confucianism. Selected officials based on their talents, laying the foundation for political, economic, military, and cultural development. To ensure the supply of food and living necessities to Beijing, Zhu Di began dredging the Huaitong Canal in the 9th year of Yongle. By the 13th year of Yongle, a stretch of 1,794 kilometers, the Grand Canal connecting 5 major river systems was fully opened. From then on, the Ming dynasty ceased sea transportation and switched to canal transport. The canal became the lifeline for Beijing, the capital of the Ming dynasty. Starting in the 3rd year of Yongle, Zhu Di sent Zheng He on 6 expeditions, leading a massive fleet to sail the Western Pacific and the Indian Ocean. He reached over 30 countries and regions, conducting peaceful and friendly exchanges. The furthest reached the east coast of Africa and the Red Sea and the holy city of Mecca. During the Ming dynasty, Brunei was the dividing line. The east was called Dongyang. The west was called Xiang. What we now know as the South China Sea was then referred to as Dongyang during the Ming dynasty. Zheng He's expeditions were the largest in China's ancient history. They were also the longest maritime voyages, before the great geographic discoveries of Europe at the end of the 15th century. These voyages were the largest series of maritime explorations in world history. At that time, the Ming dynasty led the world in politics, economy, culture, and military affairs, attracting numerous foreign nations to pay tribute. More than 100 countries had diplomatic relations with the Ming dynasty, and the people coming to pay tribute could be categorized into 3 groups. The first group was those who submitted to the Ming dynasty. These rulers and leaders sought recognition and protection from the Ming dynasty. The second group admired Chinese culture. These were monarchs and nobles from various countries who wanted to witness China's grandeur firsthand. The third group consisted of merchants coming to China for trade. Due to the overwhelming number of people coming for trade and exchange with China, Zhu Di ordered the reestablishment of the Shibo Sea to manage foreign trade. He also established the Ce Guan to facilitate communication with foreign visitors. The Ce Guan specialized in translating the languages and scripts of various countries and ethnic groups. Under it were departments for Korea, Japan, Annam, Tatar, Malacca, and others, and Ryukyu, totaling 8 departments. The staff in these departments were required to be proficient in foreign languages. This facilitated mutual communication during diplomatic receptions. Additionally, the Huitong was set up to receive foreign envoys. During the Yongle period, kings from 4 countries visited 7 times, including the King of Brunei. The kings of Sulu and Malacca were both buried in China after their deaths, and their tombs still exist today. These tombs serve as historical witnesses of Sino-foreign friendship. This also demonstrates that foreign relations during the Yongle era reached unprecedented heights, setting a precedent for diplomatic relations between heads of state in ancient times. In September of the 4th year of Jianwen, Zhu Di sent Yu Shiji to inform the King of Korea about his ascension to the throne. In November, the King of Korea sent an envoy to request a new seal and official titles. Korea offered tributes to the Ming dynasty, such as ginseng, abalone, and sea bream skins. As a reward, the Ming Emperor gifted Korea with silk, exquisite clothes, medicines, books, musical instruments, and granted honorary titles to the King of Korea and his crown prince. To prevent harassment from Japanese pirates, Ming Chengzu believed that defense could only reduce the problem of pirates, but it couldn't completely eliminate it. He proposed restoring diplomatic relations with Japan and promoting trade between the 2 nations, allowing Japan to benefit from it. In this way, Japan's piracy issues could be curbed. From the 2nd to the 8th year of Yongle, the Ming dynasty sent envoys to Japan 6 times. Japanese envoys visited the Ming dynasty 7 times. Bilateral trade became increasingly close. Some believed that, while the Ming dynasty reached its peak during Zhu Di's reign, it couldn't be overlooked that his military campaigns, the conquest of Annam, and the move of the capital to Beijing, exhausted significant resources and manpower. Although he strove to care for the people and sympathized with the farmers, reduced taxes and aided disaster victims, he was overly ambitious. This placed a heavy burden on the people, leading to frequent peasant uprisings. In the 18th year of Yongle, natural disasters in the Shandong region worsened the already difficult situation, triggering peasant uprisings in Tangs. In terms of personnel, Ming Chengzu showed leniency to officials who sincerely surrendered to him. He could overlook past grievances and employ talented individuals. But for those who refused to surrender, he showed no mercy. He appointed cronies and purged loyal ministers like Zhe Jingcheng, who died at the hands of corrupt officials. His unyielding style led many outspoken ministers to be punished for their words. Minister Zhao Yi opposed his relocation of the capital to Beijing and died in prison. Fang Bin, the Minister of War, opposed his northern expeditions and eventually committed suicide under pressure. Finally took his own life under pressure. Since Zhu Di appointed eunuchs to participate in government affairs, combined with later rulers' reliance on them, the power of eunuchs in the Ming dynasty gradually grew, leading to several instances where eunuchs controlled the court and caused political chaos. Looking at the life of Ming Chengzu Zhu Di, although his reign was controversial, his greatest achievement was the establishment of the prosperous Yongle era, which laid the foundation for China's strength and prosperity. His political wisdom and foresight made the Ming dynasty the most powerful nation in the world at that time.